All right, talk about broadcasting on the fly. We have a very special guest coming on. You know him, the one, the only EVC, who is going to come on and talk a little bit about what he's going to be doing tomorrow on his stream. So I just sent him the link. Again, 200 of you guys still here, still watching. We have 80 of you from the US of A. We've got 9 from Canada. We've got some from Belgium, from Britain, 1 from Australia, 1 from New Zealand, and even 1 from France. Bonjour, mes amis. Welcome, EVC.
Hey, how you guys doing, man?
Not too bad, not too bad. So, what do you got going on your stream tomorrow?
Well, I'm kind of doing this patented. I don't know if it's patented. I don't know what I've done, but I've got this guess the set. I got a guess the set giveaway. So every Thursday we've got a new set coming out. Milestones 2 is coming out, and we're going to be doing a guess the set on guess who what I'm going to assume it's going to be 6 cards again, 5 missions plus 1 topper. So if you can guess as many of those 6 cards as possible, you can win 20 standard packs. Second place is 5 standard packs. And we've had about 30 to 50 people enter each time. And almost every single time we've had to go to a tiebreaker because more than 1 or 2 people, you get 3 out of the 6 or something like that. So it's kind of fun. As we get fewer and fewer cards to get, it should be easier and easier to guess what might be coming yet. So it's going to be kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, that sounds pretty cool. So tomorrow, what time was it tomorrow?
Be 5 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I'll start a stream and I'll cover some potential people that might be on the ballot that you might want to put in. But it's be 6 open slots. You're going to fill it in. And then the tiebreaker is whatever the last card presented tomorrow night, which is typically going to be the topper. If it's a hitter, you have to guess what the overall BABIP is. If it's a pitch, you have to guess what the overall stuff is. Whoever comes closest, that's the tiebreaker on. We've had to use a tiebreaker almost every time we've done these. So it should be kind of fun. But my pick right now, I was kind of interested in, we asked the theme team folks like what card they think they're missing. And someone mentioned a peak Verlander. Now you can look in the game, we've got like 3 different Verlanders already, but none of them are peaks. We've got a Topps Verlander. We've got a perfect live Verlander. We have a special edition Verlander. And the interesting thing is that the Verlander has done something that only 2 other pitchers have done in MLB history. And it's multiple Cy Youngs, multiple no-hitters, multiple World Series champions, multiple All-Star appearances. And the other 2 pitchers just happen to be in the game already. And they do not have any missions tied to them. So I don't know if that's like some kind of milestone, but that's my kind of prediction of
insider information. Do we have some insider stock trading here on OOTP? Do we know what's going on here?
I have no knowledge of anything. I'm just, we start putting things together and I start researching some of the different people. Yes, Koufax is one of them. There's one other one. So Koufax, Verlander, and there's one other. And Koufax doesn't have anything yet. And one of the new cards that came out, was it 2 sets ago? I think it was 2 sets ago. I'm trying to figure out. Basically, Tim Lincecum is the other guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So both those cards don't have any missions in them yet. And so they sound like definitely the kind of cards you might want to go after. And I should have bought one. I should have bought one before I say all this stuff.
There's only one out there, 50,000.
Oh, I have one on my theme teams. I'm kind of sitting on it to see what happens. So
yeah, well, we'll see if this disappears very quickly because there's close to 200 people here, and I'm sure someone's going to go and scoop up that last Lincecum, and then they'll come after you if he's not in missions.
There you go. Oh yeah, but he's got to be in a mission. You don't put a diamond card out and it's not in a mission. I mean, that's for those that play like the really long game on this stuff and have perfect points to burn, and my main team never has perfect points to burn. It just never does. I barely keep up with the missions. But if you've got the perfect points to burn, then you go buy all the things that aren't in missions yet because you know they're going to be in missions at some point. And I was able to do that like early in the cycle on my main team, but then just like Cooperstown Club happened and like I never really caught up. I never really caught up at that point. I've also decided that Platinum Series 4 is never going to happen for me. So I've gone through the process of basically selling all my Platinum Series 4 stuff on my main and trying to get perfect points saved up so I can deal with whatever milestones come next. But I don't know. That means I did 3 out of the 4, and this last one just was not happening for me.
Well, I give you a lot of credit for finishing 3 out of the 4 because I didn't finish any of the Platinum. They just
really.
I saved my points to buy specific cards and try to improve them that way. That's just my approach to it. I know some people are really mission people and they like to finish the missions, but these ones I found tough. And even with the more recent ones, EVC, it's just, some of the prices on some of these cards to finish.
This is the thing with Platinum Series 4. What happened in Platinum Series 4 is you've got so many cards now in the system that are coming out and getting drawn that the chances of getting a Platinum Series 4 in a pack is just a lot less. So 1, 2, and 3 were eventually achievable over time with pack luck and some draws and picking different things. 4 is just so late in the cycle. And at a certain point late in the cycle, there's fewer players, there's fewer packs being pulled. And so you just have a lot less in circulation, which means you've seen a lot more inflated prices. I'm hoping this next year, if they launch on time without glitches, and we should because we're not having Amazon pull the rug out of us and having to change the entire back end, which is a complete nightmare. If anyone's ever had to do that technically, it's insane. But if we do that, then hopefully we'll have a bunch of people coming from the start, right? And then that will allow us to kind of have a longer and more people in it. But it really is with that's why I keep giving Ditch a bad time. Like, keep the Platinum Series 4 cards in just for the rest of the cycle. Like, why not? Let people kind of go after it.
I'm wondering if when they take Plat 4 out, if that's when they're going to bring in the tournament cards that they said they would bring back, right? That's where you have, was it Beltray that was a tournament card?
Yeah, well, Beltray wasn't a tournament card. So Beltray was a PTMS or PTCS championship. It wasn't a champion, but it was one of the other cards.
Right.
And so maybe you're right. Maybe they'll come in after that. Those will come back in. But I know like there are like 3 different tranches of tournament cards. And the third one was a lot of those cards, which is why, choice packs were so great because it helped you get to Cooperstown 5. It helped do a lot of those things. So I'm seeing that there are choice packs now that coming in that have like older cards, right? Like my theme team got a Cedeno, Cesar Cedeno, which is in, I think, tranche 2 or tranche 1, that I wasn't expecting to be able to get again easily. So they're kind of recirculating some of those earlier tranches of things in some of the different missions, and I'm sure someone's much smarter than me in the system knows which ones are which tranches you're getting access to. But I don't think it shows that on when you're choosing what perfect draft to do, for example. I think it just says choice pack, and you don't know whether it's tranche 1, 2, or 3 of what you're going to get.
Yeah, and even with the recent missions that have come out, a lot of those low end cards, your irons, your silvers, are going for big money to complete them. I think the 6 bells was one of them where, well, that one's not bad, but even 925 for a Freddie Sanchez bronze, like, just, and I don't know if that's because a lot of people aren't ripping packs anymore or because a lot of them are tournament cards. What do you think is the reason why we're seeing, I think it might be this one here. Let me check.
I mean, the real issue is that you have to get all of all, right? Like usually if you have to get 80% of the cards or 90% of the cards, then no one card can be the hold off, right? And usually there's enough liquidity in cards that you'll get to the 80% and no one can kind of hold you up. But now when they're doing a lot of these missions where it's everything for these, it gets really hard. And I think there's also a lot of people who, again, end of cycle, some people stop playing. And so people might have all these in their inventory, but never sell them because they're not coming back to the game. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that's out there that cycles in and out. So I'm always excited to see all the new players coming in and playing. People are coming in and trying it out, etc. But yeah, 16,000 for a silver card. It's kind of
Well,
insane, and that's why I'm not any of those. I'm not getting done on my main team either, and I'm not even thinking about them on my theme teams.
And yeah, Luke Gregson, a silver 75, and there's 2 sell orders for over 20,000, 25,000 points. So, and that's to get yourself, what is that, like a couple packs, 1 historical and 1 diamond pack.
Yeah,
And that's just one of the cards that you need. It's just crazy how, that It's Always Sunny with the Spud card, right? Like the Spud card going for, what's it going for now? 84,000.
I sold mine for like 30. I'm feeling dumb.
And EDC, there's a buy order in for 60,000 and one for 43. So there is the demand for these cards. It's crazy. This gold card is going for so much late in the cycle.
There are a certain number of people who want to be able to finish every single mission. It's a nice thing to do, right? We want to collect all the cards and do all. People still pay like 100 perfect points for a card that no longer can be gotten pats from the live cards, right? Like some of those live cards that no longer, because of licensing issues, are no longer in packs. If you have them in your inventory, you can still sell them for like 100 perfect points because some people just are completionists and they want everything.
Yeah.
So, it takes all types, which is what makes this game fun, right? There's all different ways of playing the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, the economy is definitely a fun example of supply and demand and motivations, for sure.
And I think what a lot of players that started to play this year are going to start doing is the live speccing. I know I did it towards, I think in August or September. I don't know if you did a lot of that, but that is definitely a way to earn perfect points throughout the year, and then to have maybe a bank of some for the better cards when they come out.
Yeah, that's the other thing that happens too when you get later in the cycle, because you don't have live updates. You don't have as much currency in the game, which creates a lot of liquidity in the market as well, right? So you don't have those live updates since the end of October, right? So like it's much harder to earn packs and earn perfect points. So yeah, the live spec is an interesting aspect. I don't do tons of it. I do a little, but this year, and we did some of my streams, I'd go through and we'd like kind of speculate what cards might going up and going down. It was interesting this year too, finding certain cards, like we didn't really know early on that fielding was part of the live updates. So like Trey Turner's stats kept improving, but his card didn't get up in the diamond, and that's because his infield ratings and infield range was horrible and was declining. And so that's something we learned this year. So it's a little bit harder. Pitchers are a little bit easier because it's really about movement this year. The movement, if you gave up a couple homers, your card tanked. If you didn't give up any homers, your card went up. And like relievers, you saw like the Clase go way up, and you saw others just go back and forth based on that kind of spec. Like Taylor Rogers, the king of too many homers, going from 100 to a 69 in one live update, right? Like it's a little insane. I hope they don't do that this type of years. Coming up.
Always fun if they can find some other little area that they can use the live cards in after September, just to make them a little more valuable. And you've been playing Perfect Team for a while now, and every year the live cards are always underperforming from the historical cards. What's your opinion on that? Is that something that bothers you, or is it something that, hey, that's just the way it is?
Your Kidneys had a good comment on his stream the other day, which was basically, in any kind of card game like this, you need to have some filler cards. Like you can't have every pack you open be all 100% wonderful, great cards, right? You need to have filler. He thinks that maybe the percentage of filler is a little bit too high. Maybe not 70%, but maybe it should be some lower number or something like that. But I think that is one of the reasons why live cards will always be not as great, because they're going to be fillers to fill in a pack. So I kind of understand that economically, like running a game. I've messed with game economies a little bit in my past lives on things, and trying to figure out how much you offer of something to make sure people have enough. It's definitely very, very tricky in figuring out that balancing act. But I kind of, I think they like the Tops Bunt is a great way to have some live cards, especially as a theme team. I love playing with like some of the cards that are current players from my franchise, like the Dodgers franchise. I love having Trey Turner card. I love having a Mookie Betts card that's playable. Because that's kind of, you love being a franchise. So I like what they did. They did selects last year. They did the Tops Bunt this year. So some flavor of that, I think, is good for the game. And I think there was definitely a lot more. Last year, were there only 30 selects last year? I can't remember how many selects they had for each. I mean, having 3, live cards for each franchise is pretty great this year.
Yeah.
Like the cards themselves still don't, they're none of them really work in the meta that much at this point, and that's 2 months later. But I'm not sure if that's to be unexpected anyway, right?
Yeah. We have to remember too that the perfect team part of OOTP is relatively in its infancy, right? It's only like 3.5 years old. So think about the base game after 3 years and how far it's come. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of growth, a lot of potential. It's just, we got to keep the people involved. And I think with your theme team competitions and you being the conductor of that, and with affiliate streaming and pushing out the game and making videos, we're really trying to bring new people in, because we do need new people to play Perfect Team for it to be successful.
It's half the fun. I mean, I think some of the people in the chat are talking about, live cards, how to make them a little bit better. They did 2 years ago. So last year and the year before and years past, they did like players of the month sets too. So you'd have players that had really great Junes, Julys, or Augusts, both live cards and historical cards with those types of things. And that didn't happen this year. A lot of us kind of expected it to happen as a way to kind of make live players more valuable in some ways. I kind of liked the Tops better, but I don't know. There's no real good answer to that in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, the evolving thing, man, that's just hard. That's like, it's kind of, because then are you really evolving it to what the players really is in real life? You start to have, it becomes kind of like just the sim creating this Frankenstein player, right? Like it's a Mookie Betts that can, I don't know what Mookie Betts can't do. Let me think of somebody else. Who's a rookie? It's a Spencer Strider who now throws like Koufax.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, since I got you here, and we're getting close to the end of the cycle, I always am curious, because we've played almost for the full version now. You see these cards daily. You use them on teams. You see them on theme teams. I know Fernando was a big moment for you when that card came out. And I know some of your pack pulls were big moments. Are there any cards from this version of the game that are special to you, that you're going to look back on Perfect Team 23 and say, I love that card, or I love that component of that card? Any that stand out? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I like the Brett Butler card a lot. I thought we've had some Brett Butlers in the past. This is probably one of the better Brett Butlers. As a Dodger fan, looking for a center fielder is always hard. So having somebody with 90 or above kind of defense and center field rating is hard as a Dodger fan. I mean, I've run Lofton, I've run, I'm reaching, which is not great, right? I'd rather have someone that feels more like a full-time Dodger. And Butler, I like Butler because I also met him in a hotel elevator while I was at when I was staying in spring training. And he was there in Vero Beach in the elevator with his family. I'm like,
yeah. So Brett Butler, again, not one that most people would say, yeah, that card stands out to me. But I think I like the platinum cards. Like I found that a great series, a great set of cards to come out every few months. And the fact that once one set out, it's gone kind of forever. I like that new component this year. What did you think of the treatment of platinum cards?
Yeah, I thought it was, I mean, again, I thought it was a chance to get some players that in the past they had to do like card dumps, right? They'd dump a bunch of players out and go get things. And this was kind of nice because it was not, instead of having just random card dumps, you had a dump of a lot of cards, which including some really good cards in it as well. So it wasn't just all things that were, lower end stuff you're not going to play. And like even that Brett Butler, like I actually played it on my Dodgers team a lot, and I've played it a couple other places. I like it in perfect drafts because it just has some speed at the top of the lineup. It's got some nice, good eye. It's more V left for the eye, but it's got power or avoid KV right. It's kind of an interesting splitty card, and again the speed is nice. So I don't know. That was one of the ones I liked. I mean, the Fernando, of course, was great because like we haven't had a perfect 100 Fernando yet in the last couple of years that I've been playing, so it was kind of nice to see him. And I really didn't expect him to be as good as he's been. So it's been nice. It's been nice for sure.
All right, so we got 2 Dodgers there. For your last card, give me a card that stands out for you below silver.
Below silver. Wow.
Maybe someone using your quick tournaments or someone that
I'm trying to,
for some reason.
I run so it's so bad. I feel guilty sometimes. I run so many of the quick tournaments, and I forget even who I have on the squad because I've set that team up and it's kind of like set it and forget it, which is a horrible thing. I mean, it's a little bit nuts, but I'm just trying to like. I mean, Bill Salkeld was just the greatest, the kind of the GOAT this year. Is one of those things that going to remember in everyone's memory of this, the crazy power that you had in iron tournaments from this card. And, figuring out, well, you don't want him as your catcher, but maybe you have him as a DH and who else am I trying to, I mean, Dave Kingman was a great card in that regard. I'm just thinking of the irons. I liked the players. There's 2 players I like that play catcher and first base and outfield. And I love that type of versatility. So like the 58 Stephen Vogt and the Jim Leyritz. And I love Sprinks. I love guys that can cover lots of different positions and give you that flexibility, because when you're building these tourney teams, fatigue is just a thing. It happens constantly. And so having a player that can play multiple positions, like the Leyritz there, right? He plays first, left, right, and catcher. And he's not horrible, right? He's not horrible. He's got decent eye. He's got some power. Mr. Audit. Jody Reed is a very nice player. He just gives me triggers. He triggers me, and you know that, Mr. Audit. You know that, Mr. Audit.
I've got you covered, Mr. Audit. There you go. There's Jody Reed.
Jody Reed, but only at second base. Lee McGee. I think Lee McGee's another player that I liked in iron a lot too, because Lee McGee can play all over the infield. And again, maybe not the world's best bat, but passable bat, and gives you just lots of coverage, second, third, short, left, center field. So, I mean, that's when I'm building these theme teams and I'm thinking, when I'm building tourney teams, I like cards that have multiple position eligibility. The more you can kind of do that, I just think it helps your overall team in dealing with fatigue, and you can fill them all over the place, and you can pinch hit and have someone else come in and cover, adequately at different positions. So I like defense a little bit.
Yeah, for me, there's a few that stand out. One, in terms of bronze, is Rob Deere. I just love this card. Love to put him in the lineup. He'd hit the home runs. Doesn't have that versatility. Not the speediest guy, but he was always on that leaderboard in terms of home runs. Yep. Great card, that bronze Rob Deere. Another one that I really enjoyed early on in the cycle was the Platinum 1 George Sisler. I think a lot of teams used him when he first came out. He had a lot of great value, especially against the righties. And just a card that played on my Rocky Mountain Gladiators probably for about 8 or 9 seasons.
Nice.
Platinum 1 Sisler. Pitchers under silver, a little bit tougher because they're kind of a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
There's not really a ton of standouts.
No one I'm in love with.
Yeah. Jesse Tannehill, if I had to pick one, he's probably been on my lineup right from day one. And the Platinum Eddie Plank, the Iron Eddie Plank, that was another one that was a pretty popular card when it came out.
I think the other card I like is the Wes Covington. Like I see that card. That card just has so much power and contact. It is like one of those cards that you're just, I got to pick that up. He cannot field worth a darn. And so, he's definitely your DH or, defensive left fielder in a pinch, but like the guy can hit. So I always make a bad decision when I see him in a perfect draft and pick him up and end up with, one less shortstop or catcher than I need. But, it's one of those, or one less pitcher than I need. But I'll make that.
And Chris Davis that came out later is kind of very similar too, with all power, but not a lot of speed, and defense is just kind of average.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't see a lot of the big bronze iron dumps that we saw last year. We saw a couple of them, a few weeks ago.
Yeah. It's interesting. And I don't feel like the only person that I did from this that I've updated one team with, and I'm not certain that it's been better, as I put Stalker in at shortstop. And I'm not certain that he was that much better. I really haven't figured out if there's somebody, else that was worth putting in. But his defense is decent. It's not like, it's not Benjamin defense. A lot of people run Benjamin as a defensive shortstop in their iron, but he's not horrible. And his bat's pretty good, or better than Benjamin's for sure. Right. So
yeah. This is a card. I don't know how, but this card it raked. Like it was the shortstop in iron for a lot of teams. I mean, I guess you have him in for speed and defense for a 41 card. Like all of his ratings are going into defense and speed for sure.
No, I'm sure anyone who's using cap tournaments pulls him in all the time, right? Like that is like the no-brainer in a cap, super cheap. That and like what was it? Was it Al? It wasn't Al Leiter. Who's the other 40 or 41 pitcher that came out recently that was?
It was a Met, wasn't it?
The Met. It's not Leiter. Come on, Chad. Who's it? Darling.
There we go. Yeah. It's crazy. These, like the meme one there, the what was it? The Blue Jay, the 40 limited edition one, JP, Aaron Sebia, like another 40 card that was just, Dish had a great time introducing this one on stream that night. Just laughed and laughed and laughed at this one. So, there's a lot of things that go on probably behind the scenes when they create these cards. This was probably a Snaggle creation though. So being a Blue Jay fan, he's probably like, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, some of these were people that actually, some of these cards what I liked last year was kind of cool is that if you got one of the limited edition cards in your set, if you pulled it, you were able to name a limited edition card for the year. And I thought that was kind of fun to have, like, who introduced it. So like there's two people that are in a theme team group, like Roscoe, who's a guy from down under who there's Sydney Metropolitans, had Terry Turner, who's like an old time guy. Terry Turner, if you look at his card, just defensively early on in the cycle as a limited edition card, super great defense early on. And I love this card. I had this on my main for a while. This is probably one of the cards that I like from this set a lot. 115 defense, second base. Early on, when there wasn't that much, like I ponied up for this card on my main team and had him ride second base and some infield for quite some time. And again, not the greatest bat in the world, but having that kind of defense compared to everybody else being stuck with what was in the meta at that point was kind of a nice addition. I also like the Jay Bell Jay Bell at second base was something I did early on too. If you're thinking about early cards I played in the beginning of the cycle, kind of a sneaky, he's a shortstop, but he's got good second base defense.
And I think the Derek Lee, wasn't that another masher, like another card that really did well at the gold level?
I ended up as a V left guy, really great. I actually use him on V left on my Fernando Maniacs because he was a teammate of Fernando when they were in the Padres together. And yeah, that was kind of a fun card. I didn't think much of that card when it first came out, but actually getting to play it, and that's what I love about the theme teams, right? Like I play cards I would not otherwise play in the main meta, which is what's made it a lot of fun. Getting to try some of these different cards out.
Yeah, Davey Force was a card I pulled when that one came out, and he did really well in those bronze tournaments too. And he's still going for 74,000 points right now for a 64 Davey Force. And of course, they had the Babe Ruth, they have the Ricky Henderson. Who else did they have? Big time players for limited edition at the lower levels.
Vlad Guerrero.
Right.
Might we see a Vlad Guerrero coming up? I don't know what I can't think of a milestone Vlad Guerrero has. I was trying to go through, and there's no, yes, he is the all-time Expos leader in homers and on-base average, but he doesn't have any kind of milestones that I think he could be part of the milestones.
Anything for defense? Did he have any defensive milestones?
Not really.
I'm just thinking, was he like the Jesse Barfield where he could gun guys down from right field? Or
I don't remember him being having the most amazing arm. Do you guys remember him having the most amazing arm? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I thought he did. I thought he and Barfield were the two right fielders in Canada that really could throw guys out at the plate.
Did Walker have an arm? I don't remember. I don't remember arms well. And like I said, we have to see a Vlad Guerrero better than the 70-something we have, right? There's got to be 100 Vlad Guerrero incoming at some point. I cannot think of a milestone for him. So does he just end up being in the potpourri? That in between the two milestones? I just don't know what to think. But we'll be, the great thing is you guys can guess on my giveaway tomorrow at 5 p.m. We'll see.
There's a reason why EVC is here. Yeah, absolutely. So just to close out,
finally, I have an opening on a Wednesday, so I can actually come on. It's been busy of late. So
yeah, well, we need you retired, EVC. We need you retired to get you more on stream. So
I'm working on it.
I know I heard two different dates for Plat 4 being out of packs. One I heard was this Thursday. One I heard was next Thursday. What have you heard for Plat 4?
I think Dish on Stream said next week. And that was on my stream on yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. So I think he said next week.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah. Because I always heard February 2nd, and then I did see that on your stream that he said next week. So maybe we get Plat 4 for an extra week. And with the milestones, I can't remember with the first series, were there other cards as well? Or was it just the 6 milestones with the topper?
It was the 6 milestones, but we also had a couple LEs that came through. If I remember
so
correctly.
We did. Okay, so we're probably not going to get any other packables then on Thursday.
I don't think so. I have to go back and look here. Let's see. I always have to go back and look at my recaps. Who else did we get that week? I really should write it down somewhere. I'm sure I did somewhere.
And while you're looking for it, my favorite Dodger of all time growing up, Mr. Sutton. How about yourself? Favorite Dodger of all time? Yeah, you have to pick one.
I mean, I did my whole theme team around Fernando, so it kind of has to be Fernando. It was just as a kid growing up, was
Sutton still on the team when you were growing up?
Sutton was on the team. It was always that and again, whole Dodger infield, right? Like what was it, like 4 players each hitting 30 home runs for the first time. There's a lot of good stuff in the 70s, 77, 78. I grew up during that period of time for the Dodgers, and it was just a lot of fun. That last time we had, we got the strawberry mission. So there might be some other random missions as well.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. We did get that Simpson strawberry mission reference, and the other ones too that I think had the Spud card that we're trying to get. So there were a few other missions involved.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out if there's any other LEs that came out, but I can't. My memory is just not what it used to be.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I do know the card that for me as a Blue Jay fan, the one that they definitely did not give justice to was Dave Stieb. To see a peak 82 limited edition, that's the only Stieb card in the game. EVC, how can they do that to Dave?
I mean, Fernando's had a 95 and a 99 peak in the last couple times. So you get ebbs and flows, right? You're not going to get the same peak other than the big guys that are in the hall. You're going to get some different variances from game to game, I guess, But yeah, it's hard. It's hard when people who want to peak Carlton, there's only like a couple 4 in the game, right?
Yeah.
Like that to me, of all the things this year, is the champion peak cards. I get it, but it's also like such a fan type of favorite card too, or player.
Yeah.
That if you can't,
and then you get other players that have 2 or 3 cards, and Carl Yastrzemski with the 98, and then with the milestone card, and then Dave Stieb gets a limited edition card, not even a plat card. It's a limited edition. So you have to get one of the 100 that are out there. I don't know. Could they come out with a milestone? I'm sure he must have some milestone, right? Dave Stieb. He's my Fernando Valenzuela.
He's your
EVC.
Fernando. I love it.
He's my Fernando.
So you need to make a Dave Stieb. You got to make a little Dave Stieb emote, and let your all your followers have that emote, so they can go through and spam Dish and the main channel with Dave Stiebs. I mean, that's what I did with Fernando.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is my Fernando.
I didn't even think about making it a big deal. I just thought that, Platinum Series 4 is coming up. We've had no Fernando yet. Let's go do this. It'll be time to do it. And then just not to have one during Platinum Series 4 is like, what? Now what?
Well, I'm glad you got one, because the roof would have come down if there was no Fernando this year. So thankfully, because we would have rioted. We would have stormed South Korea offices.
Yeah, no, exactly. Poor Cubs fan 23 doesn't have a Ron Santo yet. And that's what's crazy, right? Like, there's no Ron Santo in the game. Cubs fan 23, I hear you. But, it may be coming. It has to come, right? We had no peak Miggy in the game. We got a peak Miggy last week, and Madden Mask is happy. He finally got one for his, theme team of Miggy and friends. So there's got to be, what, Cubs fan 23, I think you have to change one of your theme teams to be Ron Santo's teammates, just Santo and me. And that way you can do Gabby Luigi. You're hilarious.
There is a Delino. There was a platinum Delino.
No. He's just trying to go through and get me on the Jody Reed. The story again, if you guys haven't heard, is that Jody Reed basically was offered a 3-year contract from the Dodgers. He said, no, that's not enough money. And so the Dodgers then traded Pedro Martinez to get Delino DeShields. And then Jody Reed didn't get a better deal. He got less money and a 1-year deal with Milwaukee. Greedy bastard. And then we lost Pedro for life. So, Cubs fan 23. You're gonna change one of your core teams into a Santo and me team. I think that's what you got to do, man. You got 2 Cubs. You got 2 there in our Diamond League. Just change one of them. Instead of the Alamonte Cubs, make it Santo and me. And just try to do all of his teammates and stuff. It's kind
of fun. What was he last year,
Steve?
What was Santos last year in the game? What was his highest? What was his card? He must have had one last year then. Remember?
I don't know offhand. I don't know. I don't have. Do we have the card database still available?
Steve would probably remember, I'm sure. And then Rob fans asking, how do you get the champion cards? Win the Perfect League World Series?
No,
it's complicated.
You have to do so. If you do like the weekly, if you win one of the win most of the weeklies, then you get into a PTMS. And if you win one of the PTMSs, then you can then you can enter in the PTCS, the Perfect Team Championship Series. And if you win the Perfect Team Champion Series, that's when you get the champion cards. And there's only, if you type in champion and look for them in the game, you'll see what cards are there. I think there's 3 Dodgers out of the 7 or 8 that are in the game, which is, dagger to the heart. But I was very lucky to get one of them from somebody. Oh man, the card list. I used to have this. I have no idea.
It's funny how all of us have that 1 or 2 players that just stick with us, that just are so memorable. And for me, it's Steve. For you, Valenzuela, Santos for Cubs. Like, we all have that 1 or 2 players, right? That just are so meaningful.
Yeah. Okay, Santos. I found the 22 card list. Where's Ron Santo? Was there no Ron Santo last year? Oh, I'm typing Sato.
Well, you worked for the New York Times, didn't you?
I'm nothing to do with newspaper. No editorial. Double. Hey, Luke, how you doing, man? Hope you're having a good time at the pub. I hope it's open today. I know it was closed on Monday, so I'm glad it's open on Tuesday. Ron Santo was a 93 All-Star special card last year. 84 contact, 88 gap, 85 power, 90 eye, 65 avoid K. So not horrible.
Are you do you have that computer hooked up to where your camera is right now? Can you share your screen? You should be able to at the bottom.
Yes, I can. I should make sure I can do that without creating issues elsewhere. Let's see here. Closing out things. Whoop. It's not going to be very readable. Whoa, except.
This one's for you, Cubs fan, Steve. We're going to look at.
It's not pretty. It's like a spreadsheety thing, right? So.
Oh, right, yeah.
Let's see. Share screen.
And then you want.
Oh my goodness. Chrome has lost permissions to capture your screen. Are you able to see anything yet?
No. You should pick window, like when you go share a screen. You go up and you, instead of Chrome tab, pick window.
Yeah.
Not
well,
working?
Technically, let's see. Share screen. Screen share was best with a good computer. Okay. Share screen. I collect that screen. I hit share. Chrome has lost permissions to capture your screen.
Oh, okay.
We're
doing this on the fly, guys. Trust us. There was a Ron Santos. You can go check it out on the database, I guess.
I have a link.
Oh, yeah. Post the link and I can put it up there.
Get you the link. Let me get this unshared. Anyway. Where are we here? Here you go. So that's the old card list. If you guys ever want to look at cards from past seasons, I'm sure Laptop Hound can throw that into the queue. I don't think I can throw it. I don't think I can put URLs, right? Oh, I can't put URLs in.
Yes, because you are an MVP on my stream.
Woot.
You have the ability. as an affiliate and streamer to put in links. So there you go. You guys have the link. I will throw it in as well, just in case that one didn't work. There it is.
Yeah, so you can go through and hunt for cards from last season, so you can see. I think there's one for Perfect Team 21. They didn't do it for 22 because now you can just download it directly from the shop, which is nice.
All right, so that takes them here, and then you put in like Ron Santos somewhere.
Not there, by the card title, a little bit down where it says "Find." It says by the header card title.
Oh,
a little bit further up. There you go. Left. One more. Underneath that, there you go. Put Santo.
That was Ron. Yeah, Ron.
Yeah.
And then how do you see the card? Does it show you the card or no?
Oh, it doesn't show you the card. This is it.
Oh,
you just get the raw data.
Oh, okay.
So
there you go. 1964, Ron Santo, a all-star special. You can screenshot that, Steve, and draw a little stick man. You've got your card.
Yeah, it was a 93 diamond, Mr. Audit. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So kind of, but someday I have to get a feeling you're going to get a Santo. I'm trying to figure out like when they're going to put him in though. Like, you think they're going to have packable cards? I'm sure this grab bag, not this coming week, which is Milestones 2, but then the week after that, there'll be a grab bag of cards.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing a giveaway each Wednesday. We'll do a giveaway next week. Guess who's going to be in the last grab bag set as well? So I'm going to try to do that the next 3 Wednesdays. I'm doing that 5 o'clock and give people a chance to win some packs and have some fun. We have some fun around it. See who's the best prognosticator amongst the group, which will be great.
So the February 9th, the penultimate set is kind of the last major packable card set that we're going to see. So maybe that is when you see the Ron Santos on February 9th.
Crossing fingers.
Yeah. All right. So tomorrow, again, we've got Gorgo coming on at, I believe, 3 p.m. Eastern for his Wednesday stream. So Gorgo will be on at 3 p.m. He'll be on for a couple hours, and then EVC and his prediction episode, his Wednesday episode predicting Thursday set release. Don't forget tonight, TJ is on at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get your silver packs. And then again, Dish will be on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Well, thank you so much, EVC. Anything else that you wanted to talk about? Loved the conversation and going over some of the cards and some of your favorites from the year so far. And if you could open a pack tomorrow and any card except Ricky Henderson could show up.
Oh, I want the Ricky. Come on.
No. If I can't have Dave Steve, you can't have Ricky Henderson.
Oh, come on.
Any card except Ricky. Who would you jump out of your chair, do a jig, throw your arms in the air, and say, I love you, OOTP?
Probably the Adrian Beltre on my Dodgers theme team. That's the one I'd like to get. That's the last offensive upgrade I actually see the rest of this cycle. So, and I need offensive upgrades really badly. So if I can't get Ricky, I'll take Adrian Beltre. Surefire Hall of Famer next year. So it's going to be fun.
Are you opening packs tomorrow? Are you opening packs? I am
not opening packs tomorrow. I'm going to save mine from our normal Friday stream where we go over the cards that came out the night before. We'll be announcing the winners from the giveaway and open up some packs, see what happens. The only thing that happens if someone pulls like number 99 of 100 Rickies, and it's my last chance, I might do some pack pulling, but I don't think we're there yet. Has anyone seen what the last one was? How many?
Last I saw was 75.
Well, we got time.
Yeah, we got some time. And for Rob that was asking about the champion cards, there are 8 of them that have been put out there. Of course, there are only limited numbers, 4 or less, I believe, of these cards. That Jackie Robinson, still my favorite championship card art. What a card. And
the super shiny, the peakiest. It's more peak than the peak Jackie. This is what we came up with peakiest. Because there's already
that's why Dave Steed can have another peak, right? He can have another peak.
Fred McGriff was the second peakiest. He has a card that's better than his peak card, which was an LE card that Fred McGriff had. So I love just shenanigans. It's great. So this is the year we've had 2 peakiest cards. Maybe we'll get a third. Who knows?
And I love the Bill Dickey. Love that championship card. And I know C-Wit, who is always on Discord and a great manager. He loved his Hugh Duffy that he got early on. It really helped his team out.
Yeah.
So there have been some really good cards.
And I'm very happy I got a chance to get the Drysdale. That was great. And I know Jossman, who runs a Pirates theme team, he actually won the Carlton champion card. And he ended up selling it and pretty much funding and getting himself a Honus Wagner for his Pirates theme team. So that's not a bad deal.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. And do you have the Honus or Rogers?
On my main team, I have the Honus. I did not get the Rogers. Rogers is what? Rogers is the
he's the topper, isn't he, for milestones or
for Platinum Series 4, I thought. No, that's good.
Was he? So many cards, EVC.
I can't remember who was the Hornsby the topper for, guys.
But on Monday, when EVC is ripping,
Plat 4.
Plat 4?
It was Gooden. Was Gooden Black 4?
I thought it was Brett. Too? Was it Brett?
No, Brett CC 5 topper, and the overall topper was Honus and Pedro. And
Gooden and Rogers.
Gooden was the overall plat topper, right? Hornsby was Plat 4. So those are 2 cards I'm just not going to get this cycle. Gooden and Hornsby, I'm just not going to get because I've given up on Plat 4.
Is that a rivalry when I mentioned C-Wit as a great manager? Is that a rivalry you got going there, Mr. Audit? Oh, I love the competition. And thanks again, EVC, for popping in and promoting the show tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Predict who you will be in or who will be in the packs on Thursday night. And then EVC will be back, I guess, Friday, right? Are you doing a Friday show as well?
Friday at 3:30. Yeah, I usually do that. So hopefully things are opening up. I can do a Wednesday stream midweek. Just need to content. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with no new cards come out. I'm not sure what to do on my Friday streams in a couple of weeks. I'm like, now what? So we'll have to figure something else, guys.
We're going to have about 6 to 8 weeks, I think, of no new content where we're going to have to come up with some ideas, I think.
This is when I plan to go on vacation. So.
Oh, you're going to leave us behind, huh?
Just a week in March. I'll go in early March for a week in vacation in Indiana. Kind of, the cards are done. The new cycle hasn't started yet. It's a good time. And better half
Friday, make sure you guys Friday cheer on Adrian Beltre. That's the card EVC wants to pull.
It's got to get in the pack, though. I don't think it's packable yet, though. So,
Oh, is it not? Oh,
not yet.
Okay.
This is one we're waiting for to get in packs. I have no idea when this is going to come in packs. I thought by now maybe we'd get it. We can promote PT24. Maybe they'll give us streamers like early access to show off the beta. I don't know. That would be fun.
Wow. Yeah, we haven't gotten any kind of information. Like, for those of you that think the affiliates get inside scoops, no. We don't. No. We learn it just as quickly as you guys do. So if we ever get an email, which we usually get, I think it's usually around the end of January, isn't it? Where we get the first teaser about the new game.
That. No.
February maybe.
I think it comes pretty late.
Oh, really?
It comes pretty late. I think Luke wants to do karaoke. Luke, are you doing karaoke in the pub? I mean, I have a feeling that you've got, like the sound off in the pub, so you just see us and don't necessarily hear us singing, which is probably what you'd want to do anyway if we're doing karaoke. But I think singing is verboten.
Well, we could do karaoke. I could be Julio Iglesias, and you could be Willie Nelson.
Oh, no.
To all the girls I've loved before.
Oh, no. Not going to do it. Not going to do it.
Oh, EVC, we'll break you yet. We'll get you singing soon. That's for sure. Maybe when you pull the
I can
Ricky
hear all the
Henderson.
dogs howling, all the dogs in the channel howling. Who let the singers
Yeah.
out? Stop,
Yeah.
stop.
All right. Well, thanks, EVC. Have a wonderful night. I'm sure you got some slides that you got to prepare for tomorrow, and you've got your prediction. So it sounds like, again, we're getting 5+1, or is it 6+1?
I think it's 5+1 like we had last week. It was 5 missions plus 1 topper. I'm guessing we'll have the same kind of structure again for each of the milestones, but you never know. You get a curveball. But
You never know. You never know with DishNet. So we'll have those 6 that we predict, and probably just like the first one, like you said, if it's a tie, then it goes to that tiebreaker, depending on a pitcher or a batter. BABIP versus stuff, correct?
Yep, overall BABIP, overall stuff. So that
Do your research.
Will be in the stream tomorrow. So come check it out. We'll have some fun. Love to hear all the predictions everyone has. It'll be great.
All right. And if you want to hear EVC do Willie Nelson, put a few EVC emotes in the chat. Just pile the chat with EVC.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
All right, EVC, thanks for popping in. We'll catch you on tomorrow's stream.
Take care. Thanks again.